Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been quite a long time since I've done an episode, but there was something yesterday that inspired me, and I wanted to go into like a little bit more technical detail with this video. I've been, obviously, as you guys know, into watches for quite some time. Have done several unboxing for you guys. The most popular, of course, has been the Oris Aquis Clean Ocean Limited Edition, which is up to well past 4,000 views. So thank you guys so much for watching that video. I apologize for the inverted video. I originally shot that video with the phone kind of backwards to begin with. Although I didn't think it was actually going to turn out that way, because normally there's like a setting where you can, like, you shoot it inverted, but then it shows it regular, but it didn't do that for that one. But anyways, hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully some of you guys were able to maybe even pick up one of your own, which would be really cool. But that's kind of the inspiration for this video today. So, with the, by the way, the reason why I'm wearing gloves is I was just about to take out this watch, just show it to you guys again. I actually just cleaned it yesterday. I was at a watch show in New York City. It was Watch Time 2019 at Gotham Hall, and it featured somewhere in the neighborhood of around 37 brands that come. They showcase their watches, the things that are new, some of the things that are a little older, some of their most popular selling watches, including a lot of independent brands and guys from Switzerland. So it was kind of cool. Great to meet, the representatives from the brand, some of the watchmakers. I mean, we tried on some watches that were seriously like $600,000 plus. So it's kind of interesting. Sometimes when you put those kinds of watches on your wrist, you kind of like can't believe that you're trying them on, because you're like, wow, like really? I don't know. It's just like a little bit of a surreal experience. But just so many different brands. One of my, I used to have a channel with my buddy called It's About Time, and we actually shot a reunion episode on that channel. So as soon as he, I don't know, I'm gonna post a link to it somehow or something where he can send me the video. That way I could post it on my channel, because I think that that's something you guys are going to want to say like you can't believe. It's going to be, I don't even know how long the episode's going to be. It could be 45 minutes. Could be a little longer. But we went into a lot of things. But anyways, getting back to this episode. So, as you guys already know, my everyday wear, and I have been wearing this up to yesterday. The reason why I'm not wearing it right now, we're having daylight savings time November 2nd to 3rd, which is this upcoming weekend. So, obviously watches need to be reset. I wear this one every day. Just to give you guys a rough idea. Of course, this is the Oris Aquis Clean Ocean Limited Edition, which I know you guys love so much. But anyways, the reason why I'm wearing gloves and everything with it is because literally, I've been wearing it every day, like I said. I wore it in New York City yesterday for the show. Received a massive ton of compliments on it. Actually met the CEO of Oris at the show yesterday, and I told him a little bit of a story, which I want to tell you guys. So obviously this watch was released this year in 2019, and I got lucky to be able to pick this up from a seller from Italy, I believe it was, on chrono24.com. So obviously limited to 2,000 pieces in the world. It's part of the Clean Ocean Initiative. It's known for the plastic medallion case back. If you guys didn't see my original video, definitely go watch it. It's worth it. But why am I swinging back to this watch? Well, besides the video being extremely popular, and this watch, of course, being beautiful. Again, people see the blue. It's the blue dial to me, which is just unbelievable. But let's take this a step further, right? So some of you guys out there may have watches that you may pass down to your kids, spouse, I don't know, whoever it is. It doesn't really matter. So this watch in particular, in 21 years from now, give or take, my wife and I just had a child. It was in January this past year, so almost 9.5 months at this point. And this watch I plan on giving to her for her college graduation. Whether she wants to wear it the rest of her life or not doesn't, exactly matter to me. It would be great if she did. Um, you know, may need to get it serviced down the road. I don't know. Hopefully it's keeping pretty good time. That's also a little bit irrelevant to me. But what is relevant to me is the fact that, again, this is a watch that I pretty much wear every day, will be for the next 21 years. And it will mean a lot to me to be able to give this to my daughter and for her to be able to have something to remember me by, right? So that's part of the reason why I get the watch that I do, is because, I've bought and sold so many watches. It's unbelievable, more than the average person in life. But the fact that, to me, this watch is a perfect size at 39.5 millimeters. It'd be great to fit on her wrist if she, so chose to wear it. But also it's a birth year watch for her, and, she has, kind of bluer tinted eyes, which is funny because my wife and I both have brown eyes. But anyways, so every time that I look at this watch or everything, it reminds me of her, which is funny. And then hopefully when I pass it down to her, this will remind her of me because I wore it so much. But anyways, like I said, just cleaned it. Plan on rocking this back on between like November 2nd and 3rd. Whenever we go through the time change, I'm going to reset it. I mean, this watch is keeping like absolutely like ridiculously stupid time right now. And what I say by that, sometimes you could place a watch like crown up, crown down, dial left, dial right at night, different positions, and the rotor would then move to a certain position, and it creates like a certain amount of friction on the movement. So, if like for instance, like you could put it just dial up like this, like into this is just the watch box that I keep this in. I still have the original box upstairs. And then, obviously this is the ideal way to store your watch. It should keep the watch gaining a certain amount of time overnight. So I've been, like, I regulated this watch myself because it was running quite fast out of the box, as most Oris watches do. It's very easy to open up the case back. I remember I said I was going to do the episode on the Wishy machine. Maybe we'll do it in a little bit. But I was able to regulate this, and it's performing like flawlessly. I mean, I literally need to reset this watch maybe once a month or once every 2 months. And what I mean by when I say that, it's performing to within a minute, within about a month to 2 months, which is seriously just ridiculous for those of you who really know watches and understand it. So I love this piece. Just giving it a break for the next week-ish at this point. Get it to unwind, slow itself down a little bit. I don't think it matters, but then once daylight savings time comes and then the clocks go back, I will put it back on the wrist and I'll be wearing it every day. So of course, 21 years from now, this is going to be hers. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so obviously I don't have really any other watches. I do technically have, my Fitbit, which I wear, like every day. I just use it for notifications for my phone. I do not use it to tell the time. And it's also actually good because, let's say I get up in the middle of the night or something. I don't wear a watch at night to bed. I don't need to, and I don't really recommend anyone doing it. God forbid, you bang your watch into the headboard, or, you give it like a violent jerk. It's just not really needed at night. So I tell the time my Fitbit at night. I usually just hit the button, and it lights up pretty nicely, as you guys can, well, kind of see there. But so 21 years from now, what would be my next watch? A lot of things can happen between now and 21 years from now. The funny thing, so what I did yesterday was, the CEO of Oris was yesterday at the show, and real nice guy. All of a sudden my buddy goes, "You're not going to believe who's here." So went right up. Guy was, really nice. I've seen him do like a lot of videos this year on the new releases and just kind of give like an insight into Oris and kind of how they operate things there, compared to some other brands. And I went up to him and I told him the story about, why I bought the Clean Ocean and what I'm planning on doing with it in, about 21 years from now. And he goes, wow, obviously that's the reason why I'm in this business, is to be able to have, people like, you come up to me and, be a fan of the brand, and that, you guys are going to pass a watch down to somebody. That's almost like the ultimate compliment to any CEO, any watch person. I mean, that's truly, a lot of people buy, sell, trade watches. Very few people hold on to one or anything and then keep passing it down through generations. So I'm proud to say that this one's going to be done. And it was cool to tell the CEO that. That's a great story. But now I have to figure out what's my next watch. So there's so many different brands out there to obviously choose from, so many different watches. My requirement is that I do want a Swiss-made watch. It's very different quality compared to everything else out there. And it's something that does last a lot longer. And, there's a lot of great brands out there. And, again, it's just, history and tradition on your wrist. So, when I'm in my 50s, whatever it is, we'll wear another watch until, for the next 30, whatever it is, plus years. So I was, I've been looking around and things like that. And, but, based on my budget and my taste and style and everything else like that, I was thinking about, what should it be? So I narrowed it down to, 3 pretty good candidates, just in my opinion. 2 kind of similar, one that was a little different. So the first one was, it just was released this year. This Tissot Silicon Powermatic 80 watch. Has a silicone balance spring, 80-hour power reserve, 100 meters of water resistance, but no screw-down crown, and there's really no way to regulate the accuracy on the balance spring, like no traditional screw that a lot of watches have. I do like the fact that obviously the watch has a date, 40 millimeters in size, which is nice size, good water resistance. Price on it is $775 retail. Unfortunately, because this watch is kind of brand new for this year, there really is no place right now that's selling it for less. Am I in a rush to buy it? No. Again, I have plenty of time. But again, it's just a nice silver dial, just very clean look. Not a ton of super luminova on it. There's you guys may not be able to see it, but there's little dots above the hour markers, as well as there's a little bit of super luminova between the hour and minute hands. So, not too bad, but certainly a very far cry from the Clean Ocean that I have, right? Which lights up like absolute crazy. So that was, one of the first options that I had. And of course, as you guys can see, retail price at $775. Not bad. I mean, it's certainly within my budget, not even a question. Budget of around $1,500 to $2,000, which is kind of, where this Clean Ocean fell. It was around $1,650 or something. Retail, obviously, $2,300, but I don't like to pay retail for things. The next watch, this one I saw yesterday at the Watch Time New York show, and this is also brand new for this year. This is the Bell & Ross BR V192 in blue steel. This one in particular is 38, and I mean, obviously this is a gorgeous blue. This really reminds me closely of the Oris Aquis Clean Ocean. So I had the privilege to try this one on yesterday. Felt great on the wrist. 38.5 millimeters. Wasn't too big. Wasn't too small at all. Very easily legible. It's a pilot's watch compared to the Tissot. The Tissot is a little bit more of a dress everyday kind of piece, although you could still take it swimming and everything with the 10 ATM. This one's a little bit more of a pilot's watch, although it could be worn for a dress occasion, could be worn for a dressy occasion if you need to. Good size. Retail price on this is $2,300. And of course, 100 meters water resistance. It's got the date on it, which is really cool. Sunburst blue dial. I'm just a fan of blue. I think it pops. You get a lot of compliments on it wherever you go. Eyes are just drawn because most watches are like between black, silver, I don't know. I mean, there's white as well, whatever. But there's not a lot of very nice, kind of cool blues. So this one really caught my attention, and this kind of stole the show over the Tissot a little bit. There's two things that I'm personally not crazy about this watch of. Now, is it within my budget? Yeah, absolutely it is. Not even a question. So Joma Shop has the watch for $1,619. Again, I don't ever pay retail for watches. I don't believe you ever should. I mean, if you hold on to a watch for a very long time, it pays for itself, really. But you know, but now there's two things with this watch that I'm personally not crazy about. The first one is the band that it comes on. I don't like leather. You're not taking leather in the water with you. It wears down over time. And I want something that's steel. It lasts a lot longer. I get it gets scratched. I don't really care. You know, although the leather band felt very comfortable on it. But the other thing was, and of course I could probably do this myself. It's probably just like a little bit of a pain, but this particular watch does not have any like notches or anything where I can actually take the case back off to regulate the watch myself. And again, when we talk about regulation, it's that I do want the watch to perform to within, you know, a certain number of seconds a day. Like a watch, any watch, depending on the balance spring that it has you know, certain timing tolerance. So you could get it to a point, and you know, you gotta really work it a little bit and be really careful, because like each little turn could represent a big time change. But I've gotten good enough to the point in my life where I can regulate a watch and be like, okay, if I just move it to this position, it runs a little slower. To this position, it runs a little faster. To me, it always has to run on the faster side. I can never ever deal with a watch that runs a little slower. Pet peeve of mine. I just can't do it. So anyway, so this is like a solid case back, and I'm not sure. Like it may have like a notch in it where you can take off the case back, which I think would be kind of good. It could be like a solid press case back, which I don't mind. However, with a solid case back a little bit, sometimes you do need to get a case press to make sure that the back is on correct. And sometimes if you position it incorrectly on a case press, crystal could crack, something happen. I've done enough in my life where I'm very comfortable with it, but sometimes you just never know. So, you know, it would be nice to have something that's a little easier to remove. For instance, and yes, I'm going to go back to the gloves for a minute just so I can demonstrate this to you. Like I said, as much as I love the blue, you know, the band could always be changed out. That's not a problem. But again, I'd have to, you know, do that myself, which is a little bit of a pain, and then maybe even buy a case press for this Bell & Ross thing. But I don't know if you guys can see, but there's like, you know, in the case back here, there's little notches. It takes me like just a few seconds, literally, to get the case back off, open up the case back, and to regulate it myself. Some people say, oh, it's not good to do that because then you're letting dust and other elements get in. I don't know, guys. I'm pretty careful with my watches. I don't think that much dust is coming in, but I also have a watch kit where I have like a little air presser thing where I can, you know, remove some small dust particles. But anyways, that's besides the point. So those are two things with that watch that I'm personally not that crazy about. But then it brings me over to something else. You know, obviously we were at the show yesterday. This is the Oris Pro Pilot. It is 41 millimeters in diameter. It's the big crown, of course. And of course it comes on the stainless steel bracelet. Now, what I like about this is the fact that, of course, you know, it's a pretty big date there, which is nice. Highly legible. You could see everything. I mean, that's what pilots' watches are known for. They're known for their high legibility, which is great. But it also has, you know, it combines like everything. It has the stainless steel bracelet. It also has a screw-down crown, which is really nice. and has, you know, the 10 ATM, the 100, it's the 10 bar, you know, 100 meters of water resistance, which is good, or yeah, which I happen to really like. But it also has the easy to open case back. It's a sapphire crystal case back with the Salida SW like 200 or 220 movement in it, whereas the Bell & Ross has like a 330, I believe, SW 330. So it's a slightly upgraded movement, but that doesn't really make any sort of difference. And of course, you know, it's a blue dial, although the blue dial is a little bit, you know, like a slightly darker blue. You guys may be able to kind of like see it here a little bit better. But I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? Again, the Oris really hits all the things that I want. You know, of course, you know, the Pro Pilot, they just came out with their Pro Pilot X with their caliber 115 10-day power reserve movement in it, which I did try on yesterday. It was actually kind of cool, extremely lightweight. But I'm not looking for like a skeleton like kind of watch or anything else like that. Like I'm looking for something like, you know, like what the Oris, you know, is and has and stuff like that. So, you know, as soon as I saw this, I was like, you know what? I think that that's kind of like a really good, again, 21 years from now, it's literally just going to kind of sit in a box. But I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? Why not? You know, it's a very, very nice watch. Very easily legible. It's a brand that I already have. I know I love, and I'm really a huge fan of it. So why not kind of continue on the tradition? The other kind of cool thing is the fact that you know, obviously this watch has numerals and hands super luminova on it. I mean, this watch really lights up like crazy, which I happen to really like a lot. And this watch, you know, again, I could always open it up myself, and I can regulate it to where I need it to or where I want it to be. So, you know, again, I just wanted to demonstrate that, you know, Oris, you know, really just kind of ticks all the boxes that you kind of, you know, my favorite part about the brand is the fact that they have all different kinds of watches. They have divers, they have pilots, they have dress watches, they have like just simple watches all the way up to some watches that are like a little bit more complicated. They have the Atelier complication with the you know, triple date, well, not triple date, but it's the day 24-hour moon phase and stuff like that. You know, their watches for the most part are at least 5 ATM, you know, 50 meters of water resistance, and they go up to 100, 300 meters of water resistance. But it's also nice the fact that you know, this has also a 20 millimeter lug with the only complaint that I have with the Clean Ocean is that the bracelet is integrated, so you really can't change it out for a different kind of bracelet or anything else like that. Like you'd have to go through Oris to get one of the rubber straps or something, but obviously I'm not doing that. But this one's a 20 millimeter lug width, so you could put any sort of band you want on this, no problem. You could put a NATO, leather, stainless steel. You could dress it up, you could dress it down. You have different like style options. Although I'm probably going to keep it on the stainless steel bracelet and stuff, which is nice. But you know, I also like the fact that you know, it has the enlarged date window, but you know, it has, I believe, so the stainless steel screw-in security crown. You know, don't get that on the Tissot. You don't get that on the Bell & Ross. You know, these are just like little details that Oris really goes into that I happen to just love and appreciate. So just want to share that with you guys. The other good news is that I found one on Chrono 24 for a fantastic price. So I'm looking forward to obviously picking that up, you know, ordering it and then getting it in. But you know, part of for me, because like, you know, obviously I'm very big into watches. Obviously I know that this has been a very long video so far, but I just wanted to touch on a few more points before we end. But I take a look at everything, you know. I want to take a look at the case size, the features, the band material. Does the crown screw down or not? Can I regulate it myself? What kind of case back? Is it a solid case back where you have to snap it on or take it off? Is there work that I could do myself to the watch where I don't have to necessarily take it to a watchmaker? I have my regulating tools, including my timing machine. What's a watch that'll last a long time? What watch do I already have that I love the brand with? The Tissot is great. My two biggest complaints is that you can't regulate it yourself, and it doesn't have a screw-down crown. The Bell & Ross, the two biggest things, again, are, the band, which I could always change out myself. But again, the Bell & Ross costs just a little bit more money to begin with, so do I really want to spend a little bit more money on the watch itself and then have to go out and buy, another band for it, which I'd probably get like a Milanese strap or whatever it is for it. That's the other thing that I could put on this Oris, which I kind of really like a lot. And then, with a solid case back, sometimes you could snap it off with like a little, knife and things like that. And then, as soon as you could do that, it's easy to regulate, but then you have to buy a case press, and then God forbid something does go wrong, because even experienced watchmakers do it, crack the crystal a little bit, then you got to send it in. Really don't want to have to do that. The Oris, again, it's a little bit larger compared to the other two watches at 38.5 millimeter for the Bell & Ross and 40 millimeter for the Tissot. This one's 41 millimeters, but it wears just really, really nicely on the wrist. It's not too big whatsoever. But again, it's got that stainless steel bracelet. It's got the screw-down crown with the water resistance like the other two have. But with this one, I can easily open it and regulate it myself to where I need it to be. And then the price easily falls within my range, my category, which is great. So that's kind of my thought process with something like that. Again, between, the show yesterday and then kind of, picking out, a few different options and things like that. Oris, again, just checks all the boxes. So, I highly recommend Oris to all you guys out there. I'm not a brand spokesperson or anything. I'm not getting paid to do this video. But when you look at Oris compared to other watches and other things that you're looking at and the different features versus the price and what you can get them for, again, holding value, guys. Listen, get a watch, love it, enjoy it, pass it down like I'm doing. Get another watch if you need to. If you enjoy buying and selling, fine. Just know that you're not going to be holding value. You're going to be losing some value. But again, between this Clean Ocean limited edition and then having the Pro Pilot for wearing it afterwards, I think I'm more than covered. Anyways, I'm sorry for the very, very long video. As you guys can tell, I'm just super passionate about watches. I really go into a lot of finer details with all the pieces. I look at a lot of details. That's just how I am. And honestly, I recommend you guys, do the same thing. If you guys have any questions about this or any other video that I've done, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you guys for all the comments that you guys have given me so far. Keep liking and subscribing. I'll come back with some other videos and things like that, hopefully. And then, of course, the watch show that we just did yesterday. You guys will literally love that video. It's so cool. But anyways, that's about it for today. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.